Hello Nepal, this is Tim David. I'm coming to Kathmandu to play in the Everest Premier League.
Tansen, OPC Cement.
Tim, welcome to the interview. How much excited were you for the Everest Premier League?
Yeah, I was really excited to be able to head over to Nepal for the first time and play in a good competition. So it's a shame that it's been called off or postponed, but yeah, really excited.
How close were you with Nepali cricket, especially after playing against them in the World 2020 qualifiers and again in another tri-series? How close have you been with Nepali cricket?
Yeah, it's been great to be able to play against Nepal. They're obviously a very competitive nation and very good side, so it's always a good challenge to play against the team, and I guess to be able to get to know a couple of the guys is good, and that happens through a bit of time and playing them a couple more occasions, but yeah, you get to know some of the boys.
Have you ever been to Nepal before?
I haven't been before.
So what exactly comes into your mind when you imagine that, okay, now I'm going to Nepal to play cricket?
Yeah, first thing, I know the fans are very passionate. From when we played the World T20 qualifiers in Singapore, there was a good Nepalese contingent and certainly very passionate fans. So on the cricket side, I know it would be a good tournament, so I was looking forward to that as well. But also, Nepal's got a very good reputation for some great scenery, and it's a beautiful country.
What do you exactly want to say about your experience of playing in the Big Bash League?
Yeah, it's very unique playing in the Big Bash League, I guess, for an opportunity to play in front of decent crowds. There's a lot of media attention around, and the games, there's a lot going on, so it's quite different to coming here and obviously playing in a bit more of a park setting. But it's really exciting, and obviously you get to play some world-class players, both domestically, Australian and internationals.
You were once planned for the future Australian cricket team, and you even played Big Bash. You got the overall, you got to experience the overall noise of playing in a big ground in front of a big crowd. And now you are playing for Singapore, where cricket exactly doesn't get that much of attention like it gets in Australia or in Nepal. What is the difference exactly do you see playing with associate team?
Yeah, it's there's different challenges playing associate cricket. A lot of obviously being based in Asia, Singapore, we play on some really tough wickets. Can be really slow. The ball can spin a lot. So for me to develop, being able to play spin bowling well is it's great for my game. From a team aspect, you don't get the same sort of support in terms of support staff. Obviously, got more backroom staff, more coaches, better facilities. So there's challenges with preparation for games. But you learn to make do with what you can, and I guess it's about once you step onto the field, being able to perform and put your best foot forward.
How can you play so much consistently all the time?
Tansen, OPC Cement.
I think I've been lucky a couple of times for Singapore, but I'm really pleased that I've been able to contribute to some team success, and I guess there's been the rewards that we've been able to play in some good tournaments. We went to Dubai for the global qualifier. It was an awesome experience for a lot of the boys. And then, hopefully, we've qualified for the next stage of the Asia Cup, so we're looking forward to that as well.
What is the kind of heat when you take to the crease when you play against Nepal?
Yeah, well, I guess I know I've got to be switched on because the boys are up for it. Some very good spin bowlers, played some good pace bowl as well. There's Sompal Kami, Karan KC, and also Avinash Baharas. They're very good medium pacers, so they're good in their home conditions, and you've got to be switched on, you've got to be ready to go, because if you're not at your best against good sides, you get found out.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
It's a good question. I'd love to play first-class cricket in Australia in the Sheffield Shield. I haven't had an opportunity with that yet, so it's something I'd love to do. But in the meantime, I just want to keep improving, get to soak in experiences like this, playing in the EPL. I was really looking forward to, because first overseas franchise league. But to build on those experiences, and I'd love to take it as far as I can go with all formats, really.
How the EPL is going to benefit you?
Yeah, well, the experience of playing in new conditions again, another franchise league. So I've played in the Big Bash, which is obviously the big domestic league in Australia, but I'm sure the EPL would be a different setup, and you get used to that. And obviously, if you perform well in T20s, there's opportunities to play in different leagues around the world, and I guess that's the first step, is you've got to start doing it consistently to be able to get opportunities in those leagues.
Who is your batting idol?
A batting idol? It's a good question. I've been lucky growing up that Australia had some very fine players, but probably someone I try and mould my game off a little bit is Kevin Peterson. Being a big, tall player, sometimes things for shorter batters don't quite work the same for me. So yeah, trying to do some things that if I could play half as well as he could play, I'd be delighted. So that's probably someone that I do look at, but I'm fortunate to have a lot of players to kind of, you can watch and see what they do.
Contrary to Kevin Peterson, you look quite calm when you bat at the center. How do you carry yourself while batting?
That's a good question. It's hard. It's easier when you're scoring runs to be confident, but I think confidence is a big part of it, particularly in 2020 cricket. You have to be able to walk to the crease, and if you've got doubts in your mind, it's difficult to commit to playing shots. So being confident helps, and I guess trying to keep the game as simple as you can, because if you've got a lot of different thoughts going on, it makes it a lot harder.
Where exactly do you rank Singapore currently with your own form and the kind of form that other guys are having right now? Where exactly do you place Singapore in associate cricket?
Tansen, OPC Cement.
Okay. Well, we've been playing some really good cricket. We've performed well at these first stage qualifiers. I think the next step is for us to challenge some more established teams. So we played well against Nepal in the Asia qualifier final back in Singapore, but then in the Tri-Series we didn't play as well and we lost. So it was good to win an important game, but the next step for us is to be able to win against good sides consistently, and I think that will lead to us being able to compete at higher tournaments. So that's the real challenge, is not to get through the lower or the first stage of qualifiers, and then to really challenge at the next level, and that's where our guys have got to keep pushing.
Where exactly did it go wrong for Singapore in the global qualifiers?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think a lot of the boys learned about the importance of rest and being able to get away from the game. So it was a long tour. We were there for 3 weeks, but we were probably at the cricket ground every day. So that's very draining, and our performances dropped off by the end. So I think it's a good lesson for the boys about being able to front up every day, being fresh, being able to put your best foot forward, because each day is a new game. And so what you've done the previous match doesn't really come into consideration for the next game. So that's probably a start of where it went wrong, and then I think our boys also learn a bit about some of the skills that succeed at a higher level of 2020 cricket. So some of the other sides were very well drilled, good fielders, and they knew where they were going to bowl, whereas at times we might have been a little bit without plans, and that showed.
You being the pillar of the Singapore middle order in particular, we most of the times talk about having a lot of match exposure so that we play a lot of matches and get shape ourselves in batting. How the hectic schedule is going to hit a batsman?
Sorry, how?
Hectic schedules are going to hit batsmen.
Yeah, I think as a batsman you can't complain about playing too much cricket. It's every time you get to bat in a game is a great opportunity to learn and build a bank of knowledge on different conditions, different situations. So yeah, it can be tough, but you've just got to make sure that you're fresh to go. I'm fortunate with some of these tournaments I can start learning some of those skills that guys that play professionally all around the world are learning or have to deal with. It's good that I can do it at a young age, and I guess hopefully I get opportunity to keep showing off some skills that I'm working on.
Finally, last question. What is your message for Nepali fans who are waiting for you to see you play at the Kirtipur cricket ground?
Yeah, well, I'm really looking forward to hopefully being able to come over when the EPL does go ahead. I know the fans are very passionate, and I'm sure there'll be a very good turnout to all the games, so it's something I'm really looking forward to, and great anticipation for the tournament.
Tansen, OPC Cement.
Hello Nepal, this is Tim David. I'm coming to Kathmandu to play in the Everest Premier League.